Hello everybody, my name is Chase Hawking from UnionJackGaming, and today I'm going to be reviewing Prototype 2, which is out right now for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 and coming soon for PC. It was released by Radical Entertainment, published by Activision, and has been released to quite critical acclaim. But let's see what I think of it, shall we? Let's get into the review. So let's get into the story. The story of Prototype 2 follows James Heller, a new protagonist that has taken over from Alex Mercer from the first game. And that's what is mainly different about this game. Alex Mercer is now the antagonist and basically is the enemy of Heller. It's primarily a revenge story because Heller wants to kill Alex Mercer because he is the one that he believes has released the Mercer virus upon the world and has killed his wife and child. And he just wants to kill him real bad. The whole game is kind of like, he kind of acts like Kratos from God of War in the way that everything that goes on, he just seems angry throughout the whole story. He just wants to kill whoever did this to his family, and he wants to, you know, reclaim back some revenge. And with the tagline "Murder Your Maker" from the start of the hype of Prototype 2, you could tell that this game was going to be a revenge story. And is it good? It is. It's actually alright. But it's kind of inconsistent. The start of the game, you start off working for Blackwatch, which are the organisation in the game that do all the military testing and stuff like that. You know, kind of like the Umbrella Corporation, but of Prototype's world. And you find Mercer, and instead of listening to orders, you go and try and kill him with a knife, which is obviously stupid because the guy is a superhuman, and he just brushes you off, and he manages to grab you. And spoiler alert, he grabs you and gives you, you know, his powers, which is obvious because it's on the front of the case and it's been in all the gameplay videos. But yeah, you get all of what Mercer has. He gives you the Mercer virus and makes you a superhuman, but with like your own little, like, you know, add-ons like tendrils and stuff like that. It's your own style of Mercer virus. But yeah, as the story goes, it starts off really serious, taking it seriously, and kind of making you feel bad for Heller and making you want to kill Alex Mercer for doing this to his family and making him so, you know, revenge filled. But then towards the middle of the game, it kind of forgets about all that and just goes into action game, you know, foundations and cliches, and it kind of just gets a bit mixed up, muddled, if you will. But towards the end of the game, it remembers that it's a revenge story and, you know, your enemy is Mercer, and it picks up again. So I'm gonna say that the story is good, but it's got its bad moments in the middle and moments where it forgets what it's trying to do. But at the end of the game, you will be satisfied with the ending. The story will have pulled you through, and I'm just gonna say right now, the story isn't what is best about this game, but if you're going for a story, you can't really go wrong. Now, the graphics of Prototype 2, it's kind of hard to explain the graphics in this game, because if you played the first game, I guarantee by looking at this video you'll think that nothing has changed, but there's these little tiny things that they've kind of amped up and made it look a bit cooler. Like, for instance, all the buildings in the game and the environments and all that look great. Considering the amount of crap that goes on screen, the frame rate stays steady and it's pretty much solid all the way through. You'll never have any frame rate problems or slow down or anything like that. And the game looks pretty solid. I mean, it looks better than the first game. I mean, just a little bit better. The character models look a bit more polished, and all the cars and vehicles that go past you, and the enemies and the giant things and all the bosses all look great. They all look amazing. And one of the best parts about the game is these like noir-esque cutscenes that involve Heller interacting with another one from the story, and they're kind of, I think they're CGI cutscenes. They're like black and white with sometimes mixtures of red and orange and stuff like that, and they really are cool. And I think that this game's graphics really give it a look of its own, especially in the cutscenes. But like I said before, in the gameplay section while you're playing, you hardly will notice things clipping in and out and stuff like that, because the game is so fast and you are flying by things so quick that the game looks just good enough for you to think, wow, I can't believe I'm doing this. You know, the way I'll explain it is, it's basically the first game, but just a little bit better. It's a lot more solid, a lot more, you know, like I said, no more frame rate problems or glitch problems. And overall, the graphics are good. They are good. They're not the best, but they're good. And I don't think you'll start playing this game and go, wow, it's ugly as shit, I don't want to play it no more. I'm just saying there's nothing special, but it's nothing bad. Now let's talk about the absolute best aspect of Prototype 2, and this is the thing that will keep you coming back for more over and over again, which is of course the gameplay. The gameplay of Prototype 2 is basically what Prototype 1 should have been. Prototype 2's gameplay is not only solid and does not only keep up with the amount of shit that is going on screen, but it's also fun and also updated and upgraded, and there's a lot more shit to do that is actually fun. Remember from the first game where you had side missions and shit like that to do, where you could do time trials and races, and you was like, why am I doing time trials and races? Well, they've basically been kicked from the game. Now all you have is story missions, bases to infiltrate, and you have these little mutations and enhancements, stuff like that. Basically you can either go to a lair or to a base and infiltrate them, and then it gives you a select amount of objectives, and it usually ends up with you killing loads of dudes, or you hacking into a console without telling anyone and then killing loads of dudes, or it just ends up with you killing loads of dudes. And it's fun. The game knows what it does well. It does combat well. As for Heller's powers, he has basically every single good power that Mercer had from the first game, but he has his own new powers that are so badass, like for instance the tendrils. Now the tendrils are like these things he shoots out of his arms, and then it hits a person, and then tendrils will shoot out of them, grab things, and then pull them back into the person and explode, and it's like the coolest thing I've seen in gaming so far this year. Like the amount of detail that's put into the gore in this game. I mean, there's so much blood, and for instance, like say if you hit someone with the tendrils and then they explode and it rips their body apart, their body parts will be hanging from the ceiling by tendrils and stuff like that, and it's just so cool. You have the whip fist, which is basically like this tendril that shoots out your arm, like kind of like a grapple, or just like a long blade, kind of like Kratos' arms, and they just slice through everyone. You can grapple onto helicopters, you can take them out in one hit by just pressing Y, you can rip a turret off the side of them, you can hijack tanks and do the same with those, rip turrets off and kill them in one hit. You can also do cool moves like surfing bodies. Oh, it's just amazing. The amount of gore and amount of, I think, effort that went into making this game fun as hell has really paid off, because it is one of the most fun experiences you can get in an open world game today. And I'm going to say it right here, the gameplay in this game was a shit ton more fun than Infamous 2 and Infamous 1. And I don't care what you say, play this game and tell me that it ain't fun. Tell me that it ain't fun, because you're crazy. The gameplay is just better. Everything's better. Like I said, they got removed of all those monotonous piece of shit side missions, and now all they got is infiltrate the lair, infiltrate the base, and sometimes you get missions like to do time trials and try and beat a helicopter to the destination, and they know that you don't like this, so at the end they give you an objective to just kill everyone or consume someone. Now this game still has the web of intrigue that is from the first game, which is basically when you consume people you can see their little stories, and it helps towards the story of the main game. And I like that they kept it in, because that was one of the best aspects from the first game, was the innovation in that you can learn story by consuming people. And also obviously you can come across random people in the street. They may have these little icons above their head that look like arms. So like say if you went up to them and consumed them, you might get a new power, you might get an upgrade. You can level Heller up and buy upgrades, which is much easier now. The upgrade system isn't as convoluted as in the first game. There isn't like a whole shit ton of things you can do, and you don't have to like move your leg and your arm to fucking make the move work. You literally, it's just been simplified and made better, and just made a lot more fun to use. The upgrade tree, there's a lot of upgrades. There's a new game plus mode, which you can fully upgrade Heller and play on insane difficulty, which I totally recommend you do because it's fun as hell. And I just think the gameplay is amazing. If you're going to buy this game for one thing, I suggest you just look at gameplay videos and think, do I like slicing people up? Do I like blood? Do I like having fun? And then think to yourself, will I spend $60, £40 on this game? And if you think that's enough for you, I highly suggest you buy it. If you like the gameplay you're seeing, don't even watch this review. At least rent it or buy it, because it's just so much fun. And next up is the sound. Now I have mixed feelings for the sound. There's good and there's bad. The good will be the soundtrack, and the bad is the voice acting. The one good voice actor in the game is Hella, because he does leave a lasting impression on you. He has like one of those funny one-liner voices where he just spouts off curse words and funny little quips about his situation, and it makes you laugh. It's really funny, kind of like Duke Nukem in a way, but if Duke Nukem was actually relevant and funny now. But everyone else except for Hella is not entertaining to listen to. You won't remember them. Like, for instance, you meet a woman later on in the game, I won't say her name, but you meet her, and when you're on the phone to her while, like, you know, I don't know, flying around the city or fighting people, fighting the military and stuff like that, the military may have a woman from a chopper talking to you, and you cannot tell the difference between the woman in the chopper and the woman who's talking to you. And that's a bad thing, because this woman's supposed to be a relevant part of the story, and if you don't know her voice and you get it mixed up with other voices, then she isn't obviously doing her job right. I just think that Hella is the only one in the game that is actually entertaining to listen to. And now, before I go off on that, let's just get into the soundtrack. The soundtrack in this game is one of the best soundtracks I've heard in a long time. It's foreboding, it's dark, it makes loud, like the bass is just, it's kind of like Inception's, like, you know, the Mind Heist trailer, but it's just darker, and it really shows that, like, you're a beast, and you, like, Hella is changing, and you're a bad person. And I think they did a really good job with the soundtrack. Every song from the game, every sound you hear in the background of my reviews is from the game, and if you've enjoyed the background sounds and thought it was cool, that is what it's basically like in the game. When you're fighting guys, that song comes on that you really like and you just want to fight more. And I love that it actually puts effort into its soundtrack, because some games don't. Yeah, like I said, the voice acting is not that great. And like I said before, Hella is the only one you'll get a kick out of listening to, but the soundtrack is brilliant. Okay, so now we get to the verdict. My verdict on Prototype 2 is that you should buy it. If you enjoy games like Infamous, if you enjoyed the first game, if you've never played Prototype but you enjoy gore, you enjoy having a laugh, you enjoy great gameplay that is actually fun, and the game's actually pretty long. It's about, I beat it in about 14 hours and doing every side mission, but I haven't got all the collectibles which are in the game, and I haven't use the Radnet, which is basically like this weekly challenge thing. I haven't used that much, but you can get replayability out of it as much as you can any other open world game that doesn't have multiplayer. If you liked playing games like Infamous and stuff like that, and like I said, the first game, you're gonna love this game, and I recommend you do pick it up. And if you even have the slightest feeling when you look at the gameplay and stuff like that that you may be interested in it, I highly suggest you rent it, or at least wait till it goes down and buy it. All I'm saying is just don't miss out on at least playing this game, because it's worth it. It's probably the most fun I've had this year, gameplay wise, and I just think that the game shouldn't be missed out on just because it's a sequel. People may look at it and go, oh, it's just Prototype 1.5, all that shit, but it's not. It's really fun, and it definitely deserves your time, and I highly recommend you at least check it out. And if you want to see pure gameplay instead of my ramblings over it, you can check out the first episode of Fully Archives, which is a gameplay only section of my YouTube channel. So you can check that out and see if you like it or not. I'll put the link on the screen somewhere, and go ahead and click out and watch that. And you know, be sure to like, favorite, do all that good stuff, leave a comment, tell me what you think about the game and the review, and I'll speak to you guys later.